found out that apparently Twitch has unsubbed a lot of long-term subscribers lately. It did it to me as well. I also got unsubscribed from like 4 channels. So I can only imagine that that is probably going to actually have some sub-number effects. Interesting. Anyways, Ryung, our red Terran in the bottom left, is taking on Dark, our blue Zerg in the upper right as we get this underway. So I'm going to drop down and pool. It's going to be pool first then from Dark, so going to be a little bit aggro Ryung. Just a barracks, and it is at home as we get set up on Alcyone for map number 1 of this best of 3. I believe GSL Qualifiers only play on 3 maps, right? So I believe you can only play on these 3 maps. Which does obviously limit the choices a little bit. Although, they're generally some of the more standard maps anyway, so I guess it's not the end of the world. Just worth noting if you do notice the same maps all day when we're casting these qualifiers, that it is just very much so a case of that. Who's the Terran? Ryung? You have heard of Ryung? He's been playing the game for about 15 years. Yeah, he's really been around a while. He's one of these guys that has been around the block a few times at this point. Well, when you take a couple moments to set up, the SCV gets pushed away. The Reaper's going to show up and it's going to try and put some pressure onto the other side of the map, so we'll try and get something done over here as we poke on the hatchery to begin with. So that's going to be our starting point. I'm just going to be seeing the Queen. I'm going to come back down. And, yeah. Pushing that Reaper around a little bit. Queen is still there. Just going to be seeing that Reaper still taking a few hits of damage and getting shoved away. And do you see the double CC coming up? A couple of Lings getting chased back also. All of that going through at the moment. As the commenters continue to build, extra drones coming up, Queen and the Overlord coming through. The barrack starts from Ryung. And yeah, I mean, realistically at this stage, I mean, playing triple CC, playing extra barracks, very much so the norm, I guess, the triple CC. The extra barracks maybe not so much. Very biocentric after 3 CC is like I say, not quite the normal kind of way of doing things. How's Ryung been doing lately? Hard to say. I've not really been super up to date with the Korean scene in terms of like watching online events, because I've not had my own events recently either, really, right? So I don't know if Ryung's really been playing in much. I mean, I cast the Open Cup careers. I haven't really seen his name there, from what I'm thinking back on it. So I don't know if Ryung has been as active as he was last GSL season, kind of that time frame or so. The extra drones come up. The engineering base is still building in the back here from Ryung, so we get those on the go. There's the Reaper coming through, and it's going to go after the Creep Tumor. And again, the Creep Tumor is always nice. No competition as well. Free Creep Tumor, hell yeah. Anything you do to slow down creep spread is almost always a big win, right? So that's absolutely something you just take and kind of go with. As Dark finishes the Roach Row, and he's getting 4 Overlords. He's going to have a bunch of free supply, but not much gas to build Roaches with. So I think the Overlords are just a case of, hey, I got supply blocked, and to make a couple more. Oh, Lemon C. How you doing? Thank you so much for the 13-month resub. Welcome back. You need to actually move the alerts, but I can't do that just on my OBS. I have to do that through my Stream Elements dashboard. So Yeah, I do have to move that because it's over the production tab on this overlay. Never really realized that. I don't use this overlay usually. Kind of thinking of just keeping it. Not sure though. Like I kind of want to keep it. I feel like everyone uses this overlay nowadays. This was not the attack at all from Dark. I'm surprised he got aggressive. Obviously, I was kind of talking about it as though the aggression was off the table because he'd been supply blocked and all the rest, but he comes across the map. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's drawn in heavily. Just kind of weird to then attack into the natural with those slow roaches that shouldn't ever really do anything. I guess because it's very marine heavy, it becomes a very easy defense. I mean, if there was any kind of factory units there, surely these roaches just melt as well. Although maybe if there's a factory unit, it's more easy to kind of poke in, realize it's too much and get away, whereas this is like, oh, there's just marines. Wait, there's way more marines than I'm expecting. And that's maybe why Dark does attack into the fight, which is obviously not good for him in the long run, so maybe that is what we see right there. Well, Evo Chambers popping up. Going to give Dark access to some upgrades in the near future. Station pit building on the natural. Infestation pits again, hatchery coming through, roach speed, 1-1 missile upgrades. A couple of barracks coming in on the side of Ryung, so we get those on the way as our marines come through the center of the map, taking that watchtower. Again, with this marine heavier force, you can be active on the map, but I'm a little scared of the fact that we do not have an escape plan. We don't have medevacs or anything available, right? So, a little bit worried there. That's not the end of the world. The marines pull back to the watchtower. Medevacs will begin to heal. 2-2 is on the way up from Ryung, so again, that 2-2 going. The 1-1 missile still coming up from Dark as it continues into the roaches with infestor support. Adding on the Baling Nest as well, so there is a plan for the future there. To not just be purely roach focused. You might even have to +1 missiles go into the melee upgrades as well. And just play very roach heavy for the start of this game, but then start veering away from that a bit further down the line as the medevacs pull back over towards the center. I'm just going to figure out where else they might try and drop. The hive is a building coming through for the moment. Which is come about. It's going to be seeing the marines coming up to the top. A couple of creatures will go down there immediately. The infestor will look for the fungal perhaps, but there wasn't going to be much nearby to really kind of take advantage of, so. When Roach moves through, it's going to be seeing those marines getting grabbed. Medevacs load up, and they're thinking about where they might want to end up going. A couple of other siege tanks pulling back down to the bottom left. The rest of the marines all joining together once more. So the Sinak Carapace upgrade finishing. Baneling speed is about to be done. Hive is about to finish. Hatchery comes up on the gold base one more time. Just getting that going once again. You're hoping we'd get more mech styles this patch with the armor being cheaper, but sadly not. I think the problem with mech is more overarching than like slightly making like mech easier to get into. But I don't think the problem is ever mech being easy enough to get into. I think the problem for mech is almost always going to be the problem of, you know, it sucks the longer the game goes, it feels like nowadays. Like, the longer the game goes, the more it feels as though the opponent just gets endless chances to build up a bank and to kind of take bad fights but recover from them. It's kind of weird, because like you kind of think of mech as this late game composition, but then it doesn't really perform later in the game. Mech is a weird thing. I feel like modern day mech really takes away a lot of the expectations you've built up in StarCraft 2 over the course of many years at this stage. Hard to transition to Ghost. Yeah, that's true. I think mech just lacks that general pressure about the map as well, right? So that, you know, if you play mech, you just don't really kind of get to stop your opponent at any point. So your opponent just gets to build up and go and set up further and go some more. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no stopping point there. Whereas, and if you let them do that, then it doesn't matter how strong an army you build, they can just rebuild and go again if your time's over. In which case you get pushed even deeper into the game, at which point, I mean, then it becomes a very different game. I don't know, it's just so difficult for mech to end games. You know? It's, you're right, Ghost Mech is very powerful, but yeah, maybe getting to Ghost Mech is the problem. But then, is mech even good versus just kind of ghosts are good? Yeah, I mean, is it not easy at that point to basically just play bio, get into ghosts, and then actually switch to mech later in the game, just build less bio units and build more mech forces? I actually think that might be an easier transition. It's like I say, it's really weird to think about. Mech is a strange beast in this current day and age of StarCraft too. It really is. Any lost against mech this morning on Ghost River. Yeah, Ghost River is a very good mech map. Ghost River is extremely difficult for your opponent to take an extra base to you. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. That is just a split map heaven. That doesn't surprise me at all. Small as well, so you can't really like work around the mech army if it moves out. Ghost River, I actually think it's going to have a lot of long games. As you see, tanks getting blasted by banelings. The blinding clouds that came down were not really enough. We do deny the Nidus in the main base at the same time, so that got shut down. Still got 3-3. Coming through from Ryung, so bringing that in. Well, just coming up, 64 Maulings. Plus 2 melee, plus 3 carapace. See a couple of those tanks against each other once again. A bit of bio coming across. Wing, Bane, Roach moving around, and we just have all these Marines still picking away, getting some rid of some of this creep spread so far. You have the Blinding Cloud coming down again, and Dark is going to make the dive onto this army. But this is pretty much a good few layers deep at this point, so the more layers deep it is, the more difficult it is for Dark just to kind of make that one big kind of crushing push. At the same time on the right side, okay, good fungals. This is going to catch most of these Marines, and that's a really good shutdown. So the aggression on the right side gets completely dismantled, but Dark is not able to win out on the left. So we are going to lose 2 bases over here. That's going to reset Dark down to 4 bases, and that's going to lead him into problems because Ryung's army right now is very powerful. And Dark's going to decide to go counterattack and does not think he can attack into this with the Ultras, which I'm somewhat surprised about. I thought the Ultras would be absolutely good enough to hold their own, but apparently not the case just yet. As we see a couple of ghosts trying to get snipes off, but the Ultras are closing the distance, so those ghosts cannot snipe when they take damage. Oh, good EMP hits the Infestors. Not sure if they had much energy left, but good to just reset that even if they had a bit of energy, just to make sure that they wouldn't have a fungal soon as these Ultras continue to charge forward. Dark, a lot of money behind this as the supplies are going to be fairly even. At the same time, money may not matter if you can't ever get the reinforcements out. Ling Ultra is building, but if the Ultras get insta-sniped and the Lings just run into this Bioforce, you might never get the units, like I say, that you need, and you only have so many bases at this stage. This base on the right side will be home to a couple of the spawning forces, as Ryung will continue to hunt. And the 6 Ultras, again, is what's seeming scary. Is there only really 2 ghosts here? Only 2 ghosts. Is there ever enough snipes? Well, there goes the ghosts as they get surrounded. I'm going to get rid of one of these Ultras quickly, but then the other Ultras come through, and this is where Ryung is going to be forced back, and he will jump into the Medivacs to get away from this. So Ryung will make his getaway. He will get out. Hatcher drops in here. The Hatcher gets cancelled. The Infestor nearly dies, but does not quite fall. No, the Siege Tank. We need one more Medivac, and he realizes it and fixes it. Brings that back over. And we'll sell here then, as we see Ryung clearly in an advantage. He's put his opponent down to 2 bases. So as this continues, Ryung is mining, he is building more, he is remaxing. Dark will struggle to match Ryung in a lot of ways. And of course, 40 minutes in game, main should be mined out, if not very close to it. We're talking about 400 or 500 minerals left here. Natural is not looking healthy, so you've just got so many drones that have no choice but to long distance mine. There's worker flow in and out of the natural. Just, I mean, this is what you gotta do. You don't really have any choice at all. A few of those drones slip onto that mineral patch instead. I was about to say, we'd like to see a few of them on the 3rd instead of all running back to the 4th. As Ryung, this was the group of units he picked up off that gold base previously, so he's going to come through with these. At the same time, he's hitting the top left, and so the split from Ryung so far is working well. feel like we're kind of at the stage where splitting is not exactly difficult to do because there's just so little of the Zerg. Feels like most splits will succeed. That's another base gone. We want to justify a jump onto this location. It's a good question. Not sure if you do. Tank still coming up. There's melee coming about. The Viper in production as well. Got a few more SCVs on the way. Marines come over there. They will finish off that Overlord. Game actually really does settle, but I can only imagine that this is Ryung taking the time to build up, and I really do feel as though Ryung is going to be feeling very comfortable very soon, if not already. Large army, I mean, he still has to take the right fights. But I think with large armies like this, it's very easy to take the right fight, especially when you know the Zerg will struggle to rebuild beyond it. It really changes how you can take the fight too. Because you know you can be very decisive with how the engagement goes down. His Bane's going to get rid of the SCVs. This planetary will drop. Snipes finally get rid of one Ultra. That's a lot of units to use on a planetary, though, at this stage of the game. Going to go down here. Ling Ultra will get this base. Okay, a couple good moves from Dark and Ryung. He's afraid to attack further up on this side of the map. He's afraid of the creep spread. Parasite Bomb's catching a bunch of the medevacs here as we siege up a tank, and Ultra's not going to have the easiest access point from the west. Dropping the top, and another hatchery in trouble. Dark never been allowed in mine, but we actually don't finish the hatch. We hit the Lings for a while. Lings over here as well as SCVs are dropping. Only 20 workers left in the game from Ryung, and that is falling fast. Two more siege tanks. Marine Marauder still coming about. We do have one medevac still trying to hit this top left base, but it doesn't look as though that'll be enough. Banal coming through, we will see. This bio having successfully cleaned out the right side. Oh, we have even more of this bio force collecting in once more. Things heading out down the bottom. Lings and Ultras coming through. A couple of Marines getting chased. It's gonna be a dead Ghost. Couple more Lings go down with it all. It's gonna be seen that Ghost still building. SCV's coming through. Gonna see the Blinding Clouds coming in, bunch of Ghosts trying to get some snipes done. Snipes all over the place. We see those tanks getting cleaned on up. We continue to snipe, hitting these Ultras. Actually missed a lot of the snipes there. I felt like they got cancelled up now. I'm just missing a few snipes for finishing so many Ultras, but again, the big thing is that the base denial has been real, and so Dark just cannot rebuild. So coming out of this, you know, Ryung right now can attack in, knowing there's not a lot of reinforcements on the way, knowing he can capitalize on the army he's just seen rather than what is perhaps in production. I think that allows him to be way more aggressive here. The Banes get a little bit of a catch as Ryung is kind of struggling to figure out whether he wants to siege or move here or there. A little bit split apart, but everything is just dying. The Blinding Cloud is way too late to do anything. And Ryung opens up with a map win against Dark, 18 minutes on Alcyone. Puts himself in some good positions, and Ryung is able to take game number 1 of this best of 3. And cool stuff from in the bottom right. We will begin with the red Terran player from Vitality, who is up 1-0. A little bit of a shocker, perhaps. This is Ryung. Taking on the blue Zerg in the top left of the map. It is from Talon. Dark. Seru, thank you so much for the 21-month resub. Welcome back. Appreciate it. And hope you're all doing well today. Again, gonna be doing something a little exciting tomorrow, guys. We're gonna be dual streaming because with the new internet is here. So we're gonna be streaming on Twitch and YouTube. It'd be really awesome if you guys helped us kick off the YouTube live stream in a good way and just checked it out. Even if you watch on Twitch, just kind of checking out the YouTube, leaving a like. I think you can even set it to notify you of the live stream. I don't know if that actually does anything, but yeah. Check us out on YouTube tomorrow, just to give it a bit of a boost. We're not going to be live streaming everything we do on YouTube, just maybe once a week or something, mix it up a little bit. Does my Twitch contract let you do that? Yeah, you're allowed to co-stream nowadays. You are allowed to do that nowadays. Let's Dark and Ryung get going. YouTube notifications just scuffed. Well, that's okay. I'll figure it out. It might not be worth doing, but I'm excited to give it a go. It's one of those things where in theory it's no real effort to kind of set up YouTube, so I don't know. I think being a good mix-up might be a breath of fresh air. Might be a breath of fresh air for the YouTube channel, which has not been super great lately, so. An extractor comes up. First couple minutes here, we actually have a Reaper dance with some lings, not too much going on. As you can see, factory coming in, the reactor building. We're still firing up, CC is coming about. And you have the Overlord over here. I'm gonna get turned around once again, so that's gonna get chased. The Marine gonna come in after. Pushing that Overlord away for the moment. And away it goes. Ling speed coming up, about halfway done. It's SCV of Ryung. That's into the bottom right. As Ling speed finishes, we'll see Dark taking some early map control for the foreseeable future, so getting that ready to rumble. Like I say, for these early stages, get this on the way, get this on track. Got that link speed coming around. A couple of Hellions coming up. Starport is also on the way in. Tech Lab goes down the barracks. Just have the Reaper just kind of cruising for a moment. And a couple Hellions just gonna hang around on the right hand side, just chilling on the ramp. Again, Viking Hellions all coming up, a few Queens coming in. Some more drones and those Overlords all building up as well as we get ourselves. A little bit of setup on the move. And the Hellions come out around the left hand side, and again a few more drones in production. Viking on the way as well. ZvT is coming up, morphing into the orbital, and I gotta say, Ryung has been pretty happy just to accept the macro game here against Dark, which is definitely not a guarantee, right? It's definitely not the expectation at first. And the Lings, the Extractors all coming up, the Hellions and the Reaper join up anyways. We just got ourselves settled down as double armory drops in. So now Ryung is going to play. Someone asked for some mech play. Well, here you go. Double armory. Wow, double upgrade mech is not super common either. So that is really just going to be very greedy mech. Triple CC, double armory. This is all going to come down before the extra production structures. So yeah, very greedy across the board. Raven building, 2 more factories coming up. We got our Hellions. And numbers increasing as well. We'll see if we... what's the plan here? What do you build off of double armory mech? I guess usually just into tanks, because you're being so greedy otherwise. You kind of need the tank line, right, to defend against a lot of the attacks that would come your way. Let's move on to that ramp. We lose a drone. Yeah, Dark is still droning, which is obviously good to see. Oh, he goes melee and missile upgrades. So all the attack upgrades, which is actually typically against mech not a bad call. That's not a bad way to go about things. As our Hellions pull back through the center to that right-hand side. Raven comes up overhead, just floating. As the roach speed continues through as well. Extra drones in production. Hatchery and the infestation pit coming about also. Thor of Ryung now starting. I mean, Those are a fun way. I was wondering if the starport goes to react and gets some medevacs. Yeah, okay, that's what he's doing. So he's going to go for the double Thor drop. This was kind of on my mind, but because he built a Raven, I was a little bit unsure about saying it out loud. The Raven had me a little bit thrown, but yeah, I guess you obviously have time to get the reactor onto that starport after, and then 2 medevacs on the way. Again, then you can drop the Thors across the map, more of the Hellions and the Hellbats. You can get some pretty powerful timings on the back of this, so see if Ryung can find one of those, see if he can find some good trades. He's again 1-0 up in this series so far. Playing against Dark in a GSL Qualifier, definitely high intensity right now. Swan was on the way from Dark, the Knight is coming through as well, so that allows him to play into this Knight Swarm host style. Hellions going through, just going to finish off a Queen, a couple of other Roaches coming over. Reaper getting chased away, the Hellions getting pushed back. Yeah, a couple more tanks coming through from Ryung, the 1-1 vehicle weapons and plane coming about. Dark just freed up a bunch of supply and is very ready just to start being aggressive. First Knight is on the right hand side. Hellions come charging across to the left, and I'm going to hear the Knight. It's not exactly what you want to hear when you're moving across the map with your Hellion Thor push. You're pretty much going to leave your natural undefended. This is going to be a pull the SCVs and just sort of pray. You can find some sort of value on this other side. He actually does find Knight as number 2. That doesn't matter too much because, well, as you just saw, the Swarm was just popped over here. We do cancel the incoming 4th base, and I guess one of the moments right now that could be interesting is the fact that obviously with the Swarm host being used across the map, there's not going to be that much defensively as we're just going to be jumping onto this 5th base at first. Gentleman missile dropping in, Hellbat's still pushing up, those Roaches taking big damage, Queen's taking shots, Thors are firing. It's amazing how Thor's still having a go of it. Well, a few more shots coming out. We are going to be seeing a few more units going to rejoin back down to the low ground. Hellions tanks all coming together. The SCVs also going to go over that right side, but I mean, there's nowhere for them to mine from, right? The 4th base got killed. I guess we're just oversaturated, so he's just going to send them because why not? But I mean, now they're exposed, and it seems as though we're going to have ourselves a big Swarm host Locust push. Lings flank in as well. We got on top of a couple of these tanks already. This tank count is not good enough to hold on against. This tank's just walking down the ramp. I think Ryung was in the process of already typing out GG. And that is going to be Dark taking game number 2 of this best of 3. We're all tied up in the series. Bottom right corner, our red Terran player representing Vitality had a 1-map lead, now tied up 1-1. The red Terran is Ryung. Up against the blue Zerg in the top left corner of the map from Talon eSports, it's Dark. Game 3 of the series. Open with a hatchery first, so no immediate aggression from Dark at least. Very possibly could have been something a little more aggro from him, right? So nothing crazy just yet. This is the winners match as well, right? So this is not a this is not a do or die for GSL or anything. It's also round 1. There's a second round of brackets for players that don't qualify through the first round of brackets. Cyclone Hellion Banshee saw from Akron didn't die that fast. Was that against Young Yakov? Those were cool games. I actually think mech is better at the lower end, because players lack as much of a killer instinct to kind of go in and kill it. So you can kind of get away with the openings a bit more. Whereas someone like Dark, if he sees a weakness, he's going to strike and strike hard, you know, so it's definitely a factor. Drone moves about. We are going to be seeing that drone jumping onto the SCV. So we're going to have a little bit of back and forth on this SCV and the drone. So we are going to go fighting. And we are going to see the SCV winning that fight. So, well, drone comes back. Was feeling lucky. He kind of thought he was going to be able to get going there, but not the case. Reaper shows up. Drone has to become an extractor, which is annoying because right now we do not have the third base which we want. Although now the Reaper moves over here, we are going to take it. The Lynx move back up that ramp. We come in once again. Going back over again, factory, couple CCs, all of that being produced at the moment. Link speed is about halfway done, and that's Queen again just coming through. Going to go after that Reaper. Across the map, the couple of Lings that went across actually get in. The Marine helping to chase Stone. We should deal with this. I mean, he's going to get full scouts. He's in third base, so Dark has perfect information to work off of for the immediate future here. So, yeah, perfect info to start out with. Still poking. Obviously, would like some further info, but these Lings have speed, and this Reaper should never get out of this one alive. So, farewell, Reaper. Try your best. Reaper does go down. A couple more Hellions still coming up. Starport is about to swap on over to the Tech Lab. That's the position there. The barracks moves further down. That Queen's still just gathering together. Hold a moment. I see that Banshee coming up. A couple of Hellions and the Cloak coming through as well. So yeah, we're gonna see Banshees once again here. So this time we are on the 3CC. So yeah, 3CC again into Banshee Hellion. I mean, pretty much one of the safe ways to open, right? Not a terrible way to get settled. Two more barracks and Stimpaks, so no more mech antics. It's going to be fully focused on playing into the bio follow-up at the moment as again the Baneling Nest comes up. The lair is over halfway done. Two more drones coming through. The Spore Crawler's building. Still have those engineering bays coming online. They're about halfway done. Aliens come back around into the center. They're about to finish. Drones in production. It's just going to be sat here chilling for now. Hanging out in the bottom center of the map. A couple Banshees of Ryung begin to move forward. Actually going to see a Zergling, but they didn't quite notice it, so they didn't stop to get the attack off. So that one Link just sees the third base. We'll see the Marines as well. Good information still being brought up by Dark. More information like that you get, the better off you're typically going to end up. So that is absolutely worth seeing. Stimpack is still nearly done here. Plus one attack going through these Banshees. Going through between the bases and going to get a couple lanes maybe as we go. Back to the right side. We do get rid of a couple of the drones already. Again, still seeing the 1-1 upgrades coming about, the infestation bit coming through, barracks in production, with the, again, bio upgrades coming in, so we are just kind of getting fully powered on 3 bases. I guess my next question from Ryung is, do we see this kind of become a committed 3-base, like 8 racks or so, or does he look towards a 4th command center at some stage and play that more macro bio style like he did on Alcyone? What is he feeling? I feel like Oceanborn is a little bit more of an 8-racksable map. And I feel like that might be more so Ryung's comfort zone than the kind of more longer macro game. So Banshees come back down the right. Drop Lord on the way. Something a little different from Dark. Have Overlord speed. See what he puts in the Drop Lord. Maybe a few Banes. Maybe just some Lings. I guess that depends on where he kind of wants to make this drop happen as well. So I can only imagine that would be At least a little bit of a factor. There's a couple more medevacs come through. Tank Marines, combat and +1 all building. May as well grab that Overlord, and Dark is actually very close to supply blocks. Not a bad time to be pushing. Crypt team is on this side, going to start getting knocked down, so we can get a couple of those. Now jumping onto this hatchery on the left side, that's also going to be a kill. We will take those, thank you very much. Back over to the right, into the center. Marines, Halberds, tanks joining up for the moment. A lot of Marines still gathering up. We're going to get rid of a Queen there. As that Queen pops down, we've seen the tank guns teaching. We're going to regather ourselves momentarily. Halberds push up. Just going to see Crypt Team is being knocked down. Overlord in some trouble. Dark has been trailing a bit on supply, but we're honestly kind of rapidly approaching the point of the game where I'm just not worried for Dark anymore. That supply is concerning, but when you realize he's almost onto Ultra Viper, I don't think it should be that concerning. He's also going to have an upgrade lead over the Terran player as well. I think it's okay to be mildly worried if Dark gets attacked the next few moments, but I just don't think he has to be that worried about it. As the tanks continue to push across, we are going to continue to head to the upper left-hand side. It's going to start pushing up this ramp, and, well, ability to kind of stim in towards the Queen, stim in towards the Ling Bane. 2 melee upgrades coming about, kind of Z plane coming through. Adrenal Glands is on the way out as well. Marines coming across. So that's setting up. A couple tanks are spreading. Fourth base is coming into position now from Ryung as a backup to this push, which is still rallying, still parading across the map. The drop load, by the way, shows up, and we'll start to get rid of a few SCVs, but at the same time, Dark is going to pounce in the center. Blinding clouds all across the first group of tanks, and they go down. We don't want to chase into that cluster of Marines. That is definitely a pullback moment, but man, not a bad first fight from Dark, who's got minerals to spend, and now he's going to have ultras, soon to be with Chitinous Plane, so the next push through from Dark is looking to be even more powerful, most likely. Bonuses all around as Marines and a couple medevacs will finally retreat away from the center. I mean, like I say, Dark's about to hit a power spike. Now he's going to have ultras to Chitinous. Adrenal Glands finished as well. That no +2 armor upgrade on the Terran side is going to start biting Ryung a little bit, I imagine. Kind of expecting Dark to also build 3-3. He just started +3 melee. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, maybe he wants to max out first, but honestly, he could just max out on Lings and then spend the gas on the upgrades and then just morph in Banes. I think he's got enough ultras for the moment. Because this is not a situation where Ryung was ready to play into, like, the anti-ultra. You know, he was very Marine heavy. He is not playing into Ghost just yet. Yes, he got a 4th base up, but this was more of an afterthought to the initial commitment to an attack. And so I think Dark is going to be very okay with, you know, not a super high ultra count. I think the few that he has is okay. How many does he have? I was going to say, he does have 3. They're just split everywhere. You could only see 1, but yeah, they're just in different places. As Dark realizes he's maybe in trouble upper right, this ultra, oh my god, probably could have stood and got some more shots because Ryung stopped microing. So yeah, he's going to be able to counterattack in, and well, there's already a Ling drop again in the main base. These drops have been huge. Gains coming through, SCV's getting blasted. Just going to finish off the last few of those SCVs. The Deepa's all going down. It's going to be seen our older command is going to be in a whole bunch of trouble in this 3rd base. The natural cleaned up, the main base in tatters, and okay, there's still an army across the map here from Ryung, but yeah, he's going to have some work to do against a bunch of Ultras and Banes that are coming online right now. GG, says Ryung, and Dark is going to bring it back from a 1-0 deficit to a 2-1 victory. Dark gets it 2-1 in this best of 3. Congratulations.